Chef Mike Harris, Culinary Development Lead.
And I'm Charles Purcell, Senior Application Development Manager for Foodology by Univar Solutions, North America.
Healthy nutrition is the new norm as focus intensifies on boosting and maintaining health. Consumers have become mindful nutritionists, educating themselves on what they need for health and what the nutrient density and functionality of their foods need to be. Markets show rising demand for healthier foods as consumers look for cleaner labels, less sugar, salt, and fat, fiber and protein fortifications, and choice under the free-from and flexitarian nutrition. They routinely scrutinize ingredient lists and educate themselves on risks such as acrylamide, product safety, quality, and traceability all matter like never before. From supporting mental health to improving the way we look and feel, self-care is a trend that's gaining more importance for the health-conscious consumer and will continue to guide purchasing choices. And so is the quality experience, which enhances all senses. Taste, texture, flavor, and appearance of goods matter alongside convenience and a healthier nutritional profile.
Currently, the word healthy is on track to get updated in the United States. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has proposed new definitions for healthy as a nutrient content claim. The new approach is reflective of the advancements in nutrition science. It aims to promote nutrient-dense foods that offer consumers essential nutrients from key food groups. The FDA has also stated the proposal aligns with FDA's goals to help foster a healthier food supply, empower consumers with the information they need to make healthier choices, and reduce diet-related chronic diseases, such as cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. The Canadian label landscape is also changing to support healthy eating habits. Similar to the USA, Canada will start having front-of-pack symbols to highlight food products that are high in sugar, sodium, and saturated fat. Canadian manufacturers will have until January 1st, 2026 to make these changes. Today we're going to highlight recipes and ingredients to formulate products with a healthier nutrition profile. We'll leverage the latest ingredients and innovations for healthier eating. So, what are we going to create, Chef Mike?
Well, we will start off with a double chocolate chip muffin that we can pair with a rich lactose-free chocolate milk. And for later in the day eating occasions, we will create a protein bar to fuel our workout and end our day with a light Mojito mocktail. Our team of food scientists and chefs will walk you through each of the formula, prep, and ingredients that deliver a healthier product. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Dylan Morton, and I am the Food Product Development Specialist with Foodology by Univar Solutions.
And I'm Nadine Myers, Application Development Specialist for Foodology by Univar Solutions.
Today, we'll be making a double chocolate chip muffin that highlights a variety of ingredients that we can provide for you. We have developed this formula to hit on some key trends in the industry, like sugar and egg reduction. Now, let me walk you through how to create this delicious double chocolate chip muffin. The first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Now that our oven has been preheated, we're going to go ahead and weigh out all of our dry ingredients. This includes stevia, flour, baking soda, salt, OptiCake XL, cocoa powder, instant coffee, and CitraBlend EX. We're going to go ahead and set that to the side for future use. Now, the first thing we're going to put in this bowl is some brown sugar. So we'll go ahead and put that in the bowl. And now we're going to combine that with our allulose, which is this light syrup that you see here. And now we're going to mix this on low speed for about 30 seconds or so, just until it's well incorporated. So now that we've got our allulose and brown sugar combined, we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our wet ingredients. So here we have our milk and canola oil. Go ahead and dump that in there. Now we also have our Greek yogurt. That is 2% Greek yogurt. Let's see if we can get that in there. Got most of that. Now we have a little bit of water. And lastly, we're going to add a little bit of egg. And now that we have all the rest of our wet ingredients added in there, we're going to go ahead and mix this on low speed for about 2 minutes until well incorporated. Now that we've had this mixed for about 2 minutes or so, I'm going to go ahead and scrape down the bowl just to make sure that we got everything well incorporated. We look pretty good here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our dry ingredient blend and we're going to add this in about 1/3 at a time, just so that we don't get any clumps. So lower that down. All right, there's about 1/3. Go ahead and lift that back up. Probably mix that for about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll go ahead and add our the rest of our dry ingredients. Looks pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead and give it one last scrape, make sure we got all those dry ingredients mixed in. And the last step here is going to be to take our chocolate chips, and we're simply going to fold those in by hand. So we'll take those. All right. Now we're going to have to unattach our mixer there. Set that to the side. All right, so now we're just going to mix these in. Quick little mix. That looks good. It smells delightful. I cannot wait to try these. Scrape that off. Now we're going to take our handy dandy little scooper and we're going to go ahead and scoop these into our muffin tins until they're about 3/4 of the way full. This should be just about the perfect size. And now that we have our muffin tins full, we're going to go ahead and place them in the oven. And now that those are in the oven at 350, we're going to go ahead and let them bake for about 20 to 22 minutes or until the toothpick comes out clean. And just like that, we have our delicious muffins right out of the oven. So now what we're going to do is have Nadine talk a little bit about the specialty ingredients that go into these muffins.
I would like to introduce you to the ingredients that were highlighted in this chocolate muffin recipe. There are several to highlight, and Univar Solutions is the distributor of choice when looking for food functional ingredients. When looking for sugar reduction ingredient options, Ingredients Austria and allulose is an excellent choice. Austria has a similar sweet taste profile and all the functionality of sugar. It is 70% as sweet as sugar and only contributes 0.4 of a calorie per gram and provides the functional bulking, browning, and freeze point depression in formulations that sugar also provides. If allulose is not allowed for use in your region, a second formula was created using Cargill's Ceros, which is an erythritol, a sugar alcohol or polyol, that is water-soluble and occurs naturally in many fruits and vegetables. It is also commercially produced through fermentation from a simple sugar derived from corn called dextrose. Zeros also helps food retain moisture. Stevia is often used in the combination with other sweeteners, and in our formulation, Cargill's Truvia R95 is a clean-tasting stevia with a minimum of 95% Reb A. To achieve that rich, decadent chocolate flavor, Cargill's Cocos are a great choice. In these muffins, Cargill's Russet Plus was used along with Cargill's semi-sweet chips to add just the right flavor and texture to make these sugar-reduced cakes taste indulgent and decadent. And to help enhance that rich chocolate flavor profile, Camlin Fine Science's vanillin adds those vanilla-like notes that are so important. Finally, Novozymes Opticake XL is often used in sweet baked goods to help with crumb softness, elasticity, and volume. When using enzymes, a tiny amount goes a long way, and it is also very label friendly. If you are looking for ways to help reduce ingredient costs, and specifically eggs, look no further than Citrus Extracts CitraBlend EX. CitraBlend EX is a clean label, functional ingredient that can be used to partially replace whole egg liquid or powder. In this recipe, Chef was able to achieve a 50% reduction of eggs and still achieve the same functionality and moistness that eggs add to a baked good. We want to thank you for participating in today's webinar with Chef Dellen and myself. On the next screen, you will see the formula for the chocolate muffins. Please reach out to us if you would like a copy of the recipe or technical assistance when using any of the ingredients that were highlighted.
I am very excited to drink a bunch of chocolate milk today. We have developed a reduced sugar, lactose-free chocolate milk showcasing our lactase enzymes, cocoa powder, carrageenan, and stevia sweetener for a tasty beverage the whole family can enjoy. The processing steps are to confirm we have appropriate suspension of ingredients and for a consistent final product. Our goal is to provide an easier to digest milk beverage with reduced calories, but still an indulgent mouthfeel. Now let me walk you through how to create a rich lactose-free chocolate milk that is delicious at any time of day. The first thing we're going to do is add our lactose-free milk to a bowl.
And this is milk that's already been enzymatically treated to break down the lactose.
Then we're going to put together our dry blend by mixing our cocoa powder, salt, sugar, vanillin, carrageenan, and stevia. Like so. And now that this is blended, we are going to whisk this into our milk. We're going to add this mixture to our pot and heat this to at least 185 degrees Fahrenheit while using our homogenizer at 6,000 RPMs. And we're going to continue to homogenize for about 4 minutes. So this is our benchtop process. I know we have specific equipment available to us, so your process might look a little different. Yeah, 185.
Nice.
All right, so we're up to temp and homogenize, so we're gonna turn this off. So then we're gonna take this, we're gonna put it in an ice bath, and then once it's cooled off, we're gonna serve. So I hope you're ready for some chocolate milk.
I've been waiting.
Excellent. Now our chocolate milk is ready to go.
Let's see how it came out.
Nice and creamy.
Looks good.
There you are.
All right,
Excellent.
ready? Salute.
Cheers. That's chocolate milk.
Great.
Love it.
Good job.
Delicious. Well, thank you very much.
Now let's talk for a minute about the ingredients we used in the formula. Lactose-free milk starts by using an enzyme called lactase. Novozymes lactase product called Saphira breaks down the naturally present lactose in milk into two monosaccharides, galactose and glucose. These two monosaccharides actually deliver a sweeter taste than the lactose. This results in a milk that is not only lactose-free, but requires less additional sweeteners. Cargill's Russet Plus cocoa powder provides superior flavor and color. You really can't have chocolate milk without cocoa. Calorie reduction is achieved by using Cargill's stevia sweetener called Truvia R95 in place of sugar. Truvia R95 is a clean-tasting stevia with a minimum of 95% Reb A. Vanillin plays a critical role in chocolate milk. It is what makes cocoa powder taste like chocolate. Camlin's Fine Science's vanillin provides the vanilla-like notes that are so important to a quality product, and you can really taste it in here. Finally, there are two defining characteristics of a really good chocolate milk product: their suspension and a rich, creamy mouthfeel. Carrageenan is the perfect hydrocolloid to deliver both functionalities. As you probably know, carrageenan has been the go-to in chocolate milk for decades. Utilizing a carrageenan that contains kappa-2 carrageenan from Jellimar, you will achieve both superior mouthfeel and excellent cocoa particle suspension. So now let's talk about the production procedure. It can take up to 24 hours to achieve full lactose reduction in cold milk using enzymes. Once that's achieved, actually making the chocolate milk product is fairly straightforward, as you just saw. Dry ingredients are added to the milk in the proper order and mixed until they're fully dissolved or dispersed. You can premix the dry ingredients if you like we did. Then the product should be homogenized at around 2,500 psi and pasteurized at 185 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit and packaged. Pasteurization is necessary in order to fully hydrate that carrageenan. Chef Mike and I would like to thank you for joining us today. On the next screen, you'll see the formula for the chocolate milk. Please reach out to us if you want a copy of the recipe card.
Have you ever wondered how to create a tasty protein bar to help fuel those intense workouts? Well, today we have a wonderful formula that I will be making that works great as a pre-workout boost or post-workout recovery. So here's how it's made. First, we're going to weigh out all of our dry ingredients. That includes whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, peanut powder, cocoa powder, sulfur salt, Fosson's P95, maltitol powder, stevia RA95, and vanillin. So now we're going to go ahead and put these in our mixing bowl. And we're simply going to mix this up for about 30 seconds or so. And we're going to mix that just until they're well incorporated. So that won't take too long. All right, that looks pretty good. And now what we're going to do is weigh out all of our wet ingredients. So here in this bowl, we have our palm oil, our corn syrup, glycerin, water, and rosemary extract. So we're going to go ahead and add our wet ingredients to the bowl. That looks good. And now we're simply going to mix this for about 30 seconds to a minute. Until it resembles about a coarse, wet sand. And now we have our finished product here that resembles a pretty good, coarse, wet sand. Now, the final ingredient that I want to highlight here is our dark chocolate compound coating that we have. And you can use it to either dip or drizzle on your bars however you would like. However, we do have some here that's already been melted that we're going to use to dip the bars into. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our mixture here that has been completed, and I'll sort of give you guys a little view of the wet sand so you can see that in the bowl. So you can see it's sort of that wet sand consistency. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little mix by hand just to make sure we're not missing anything at the bottom of the bowl. Looks pretty good. And now what we're going to do is just scoop this out of the bowl, and we're going to put it into our container here, and we're going to press it in this mold for about 30 minutes or so. So we're going to put that in here. All right, so I put about half in there. We had a little extra. So now what I'm going to do is I have another one on the bottom here, and we're simply just going to press it down, and it's going to make a nice bar shape. Should be good there. And look at that. We got a nice little bar. And now we're just going to let that sit for about 30 minutes or so, just so it can sort of come together and it doesn't break apart when you try and cut it into different shapes and pieces. And now we have our finished product of our protein bars. So here we've coated them in a little bit of our dark chocolate compound coating, and each bar has about 20 grams of protein for you to use for your workouts. Now I'm going to hand it off to Nadine to take a little bit closer look of the ingredients that we highlighted.
Thank you, Dylan. And these look absolutely fantastic. Let's take a closer look at the ingredients highlighted in the protein bar formula. Ingredion's maltitol is a sugar alcohol widely used to reduce the sugar levels of many protein snacks without adversely affecting the product's level of sweetness. It is 95% as sweet as sugar, but contains about half the calorie content of regular sugar, and it comes in either a liquid or powder form. Tata's Faucet's P95 is a short-chain fructooligosaccharides, or FOS for short, made from fermented cane sugar. It is 100% soluble with a sweet flavor profile containing 40 to 70% of the sweetness of sugar, depending upon the grade that is purchased. FOS has many gut health benefits and is excellent fiber sweetener choice when preparing good-for-you products. When considering a natural preservative to support shelf life stability as an antioxidant, look no further than Camlin's Fine Sciences Nature Rosemary Extract. Nature comes in either liquid or powder form and can be used in a broad array of food applications, from fats and oils, spices, seasonings, snacks, and nuts, just to name a few. Young Bunzlauer's Subfer Salt is a patented mineral salt which helps to reduce sodium content without compromising the taste. A 1-to-1 replacement of salt with Subfer Salt allows sodium reduction of up to 50% while achieving identical functionality in finished products. And these bars contain 2 of Cargill's ingredient lines. We have a cocoa powder and the compound chocolate used for the coating, along with the stevia Truvia RA95. Cargill offers a broad range of cocoa powders and inclusions, from non-alkalized to heavily oxidized powders, morsels, and chunks. Cargill's chocolates are natural and can be labeled as real, meaning that it meets the FDA's standards of identity. The use of whey protein in sports and snacks products delivers the nutrients shown to positively affect body composition. Research has demonstrated that whey proteins are critical for muscle growth and recovery. Leprino's whey protein isolate and whey protein concentrates are the newest ingredients in the Foodology by Univar Solutions product portfolio. Leprino's products are superior when it comes to flavor and functionality. Because these ingredients are the result of the production of mozzarella cheese, they do not impart any additional flavors or colors that other typical whey products would. Whey protein isolates are 90% protein, while whey protein concentrates contain anywhere between 34 to 80% protein and can help improve the moistness, texture, and extend the shelf life of your bar. We'd like to thank you all for participating in today's webinar. On the next screen, you will see the formula for the protein bar. Please reach out to us if you have any additional questions or want a copy of the recipe card.
Let's end our day with a relaxing, alcohol-free mojito.
Let's do it.
Mocktails are a fast-growing segment as consumers want to enjoy the taste and experience of traditional adult beverages while still needing to be productive with the rest of their day. We also know health-conscious consumers are looking for ways to enjoy the things that they love with the added benefits like reduced calories. In this recipe, we are showcasing our stevia sweetener. The flavor of stevia has come a long way since its introduction to the market many years ago, and it's the closest it's ever been to replicating the experience of real sugar. Now let me walk you through how to create this tasty mocktail perfect for that business lunch. So we're very simply just going to add all of our ingredients together. First, we're going to add our stevia, like so. Once that's dissolved, we're going to add our rum, lime, and mint flavors, which we've already combined. And just like that, we're ready to go. We're going to plus it up a little bit. The first thing we're going to do is add some lime to our glasses.
Great.
Like so. Then we're going to add some mint to it as well. Mint everywhere. Okay. And now we're going to do our muddling. So we're basically just going to smash all these things together to release a bunch of the flavor that's going to be released in our beverage.
I can smell it already.
Like so. Very easy. Everything's nice and smashed there. And now we're going to add some ice to our glass.
Starting to look like the real thing here.
Just like that. And all we have to do now is pour it over the top. We're also going to finish with a nice garnish of a lime wheel. And there is our Mojito mocktail.
Now it looks like the real thing.
Yeah, should we give it a try?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Cheers. Very good.
Very tasty. Love
Great.
it.
Well, who doesn't like a mojito at the end of the day? And mocktails are all the rage these days. Let's have a look at what goes into making a great tasting mojito mocktail. As you probably know, a traditional mojito cocktail consists of sugar, lime juice, rum, mint leaves, and some form of carbonated water like seltzer water or club soda. In this formulation, we have eliminated the sugar and substituted Cargill's stevia product called Truvia R95. Truvia R95 is a high-purity, clean-tasting stevia product which delivers a minimum of 95% Reb A. Chef Mike, you remember when stevia first came out?
Yes.
It had some drawbacks. The flavor profile, although sweet, had some funny tastes at the end. It's come a long way since then.
Absolutely.
It's cleaned up, and this is a particularly delicious tasting product. It's a powdered form, and it dissolves quickly and easily. Lime juice, rum flavor, there is such a thing, a bit of lime and mint flavor round out the formulation. Add a couple of mint leaves and a lime wedge, and you have a truly refreshing, lower-calorie mojito mocktail. Chef Mike and I would like to thank you. On the next screen, you'll see the formula for the mojito. Please reach out to us if you want a copy of the recipe card.
Our team of chefs and food scientists are here to help you create your next winning recipe. Thank you for joining us today on our journey to create healthier products. Well, thanks to everybody for joining our Foodology by Univar Solutions webinar. Hope you saw some tasty treats and got some great information and some great ideas for your development and formulations. We actually have a couple questions that came in as well, so we're going to go ahead and address those now. So, Charles, I'm gonna start it off. We've got a question about the double chocolate chip muffins.
And the
All right.
question is, are there other zero-calorie sweeteners you offer that can be used in baked goods like this?
Ooh. So 0-calorie sweeteners is a good question. The answer is yes. There's a lot of them on the market. They've been around for a while. Stevia, sucralose, aspartame, you name it. They've been out there for a while. The challenge with 0-calorie sweeteners is the bulking effect that you don't get because they're so high intensity. So the primary consideration is, what are you going to make up the volume with that you're not getting when you use sugar? And that's basically the big challenge. But yes, a lot of different high intensity options out there for getting that sugar count down.
Gotcha. And depending on who the customer or consumer is, some may have a different preference to a different flavor profile. So we know certain zero-calorie sweeteners have a different, flavor perception. So depending on the product, what's, its end application, you may be able to mix and match for a better final product for your consumer. So
You also have to think about heat stability, making sure that whatever you pick is heat stable.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
So another one came in. Can these muffins be made vegetarian or vegan? What do you think, Mike?
That is a very good chefy question. So, so these muffins specifically were made low calorie, but they are, with real dairy, eggs, things like that. So certainly it can be made vegan or vegetarian. You have to, let's say, obviously replace the egg. In doing that, you may need to add a hydrocolloid system, as well as maybe some fiber for structure. Also switching out the chocolate chips that we use were milk chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
There are a variety of vegetarian vegan options for chocolate where they're replacing some of the dairy components with coconut or just, the cocoa fat and things of that nature. But certainly a baked item can absolutely be transitioned to vegetarian or vegan, just making sure that whoever your customer is, you need to document it appropriately. You don't want to have any cross-contamination in your facility. So making sure that either you can do a full vegan item, or sometimes you have to add the little asterisk that this is made in a facility that also makes meat and meat type items. So you may need to add that to your ingredient statement or label, but you certainly can switch this recipe up. That is an excellent question. As we always try to tailor our recipes to as many people as we can, and dietary restrictions are a huge one for us. But we're going to move on to, we're going to move on to chocolate milk now. So we had a question coming in. Does utilizing lactose-free milk change its functionality? That is a great question.
I can answer that one. No, it doesn't really at all. Very little sweetness comes from lactose itself. So you're not going to miss anything when you switch over to a lactose-free chocolate milk, because you're going to be adding something back for sweetness anyway. So feel free, lactose-free away.
Excellent. So that's a very easy way to just use it in whatever application. You don't really have to worry about its functionality changing. So that's fantastic.
So Mike, here's one. Explain how the beverage could also have a reduced fat claim while still tasting indulgent. How does that work?
This is a very good question. So obviously fat as a chef is a wonderful flavor driver, but it also functions while you're eating. So that fat can coat your mouth, coat your tongue. Some of those flavors are absorbed into fat and linger on your tongue longer. So in a indulgent chocolate milk, not only is the viscosity of your milk important, but also kind of the composition of it. So if you are reducing fat, you may want to replace it with, again, hydrocolloids or some other ingredients to thicken it a bit. That will let it linger on your palate longer and mimic kind of that higher fat beverage. If you are perfectly fine with a natural sugar and that sweetness, some of that also helps give a little body to the chocolate milk. But if you're taking fat out in general, you are going to want to replace that and build viscosity back. And there's a variety of hydrocolloids that can do that and mimic what it's like to use, let's say, whole milk, or if you're cutting it with half and half or cream or whatever you're making to make it extra indulgent. That is not super difficult. So
it can be done again.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So we can, and again, based on your consumer, what their ingredient preferences are, you certainly can decide what ingredients are allowed in your toolbox to make these adjustments. The cleaner label, the more natural, any of those kinds of claims. It's not, wouldn't necessarily say it's more difficult, but then you know what ingredients you have available to get the results there. So.
And Chef Mike, I just add,
Hmm?
if you're facing that challenge and you're not sure what to do, we're happy to help you with that challenge.
Oh, absolutely. I think not only us here, but we have a huge team that are not only fully capable of developing any kind of item from benchtop through manufacturing. If there are specific holdups, let's say you're developing a low-fat chocolate milk and you are not getting the viscosity, not
Yeah.
only do we have people like us who have developed these kinds of things, we certainly have dairy industry experts. We have plant-based experts. So if you're transitioning from a dairy milk beverage to a plant-based one, we have so much knowledge to be able to support any of those kinds of activities. So that's, easy enough for us to do. We will help guide you through the process to do that.
Absolutely.
So, and speaking of functionality, we got a question for our protein bar. So what functionality do some of the other protein types and sources provide that are, whether they're in the protein bar that we saw or other protein source options out there?
Ooh, I can take that one. So protein is very specific. The go-to forever has always been whey proteins in bars. Now with the rise of plant-based proteins, it's the sky's the limit. They're every kind of plant-based protein out there you can think of. Taste is a huge consideration, and mitigating bitterness. And also, proteins have a tendency to suck up moisture in your bar. So if you don't want one that's going to break your teeth in 3 months, be sure that you're working with humectants and be sure that it's not going to dry out, because once you put those in there and there's any water or moisture that can be grabbed by those proteins, they're going to want to suck it up and your bar is going to get hard. So it's very, very important to have that as a consideration, as well as the overall quality of the protein, I would say. So if you're looking at the amino acid content of the proteins, it's something to consider.
Interesting.
Again, we've got a huge toolbox full of proteins to talk about.
Very cool. And I do know not only the sort of the product development functionality, but the actual dietary functionality of some of these proteins. Something like a whey protein is very quickly absorbed by the body and broken down, where a casein or some of these other ones are take a lot longer to break down and longer to digest. So depending on what kind of consumer you are and what activity level you have, you may want a very strong, whey protein related bar for right before or right after working out. But if you're, let's say, on a diet and are just snacking and want to be nourished in between meals, some of those slower digesting proteins would probably be a better bet to keep you fueled and filled for a longer period of time. So.
Very good point.
Yeah.
So here's another one, Mike. What's the difference between a protein bar and a meal replacement bar? You kind of just alluded to it a little bit there.
Yeah, that is an excellent question. So normally a protein bar, obviously your high source of protein, and depending on, again, activity level, what you're trying to, let's say your specific diet, what your dietary goals are, that protein bar is usually pre and post workout. And again, depending on what else is in there, could be kind of an in-between meal thing. A meal replacement bar isn't just high in protein, it's high in your macronutrients. So that includes carbohydrates and fats. As it's stated in the name, this is not a, let's say, I need to add a little bit more protein to my meal. This is maybe you're on the road and you need a full meal. Maybe your activity level is so high and you are burning so many calories that you need to add meals to your daily intake, like a Michael Phelps who's eating 10,000 calories a day and actually needs to eat calorically dense foods to meet that requirement. You do want to add fat and you do want to add carbohydrates to this. So certainly a leisurely game of pickleball, you might need a protein bar to supplement. If you are collegiate, Olympic, running marathons, weightlifting, for building large quantities of mass on you, you need a whole lot more caloric and fat intake. And that is very much the difference between a meal replacement and a protein bar. If you have, let's say, a liquid protein shake, you can, and you want to transition it kind of easy to a meal replacement, you could add your chocolate syrup in there. You could use whole milk to blend the protein powder in, because now you are adding fat and you're adding carbohydrates to it. So you could kind of adjust your ingredients yourself to make more of a meal replacement as opposed to a full protein beverage or protein meal item. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Mike, I think that's about all the time we have, I believe. So
I think we could probably fit one more. Do we want to do a quick one?
One more?
I think we do one more for the mocktails. So
we
got
the
one.
Mocktail, yeah.
Yeah, we got one, which would be, would stevia work in other mocktail applications? So if you are working out and you're trying to cut alcohol from your diet, mocktails are certainly a great choice. So what other kinds of, mocktails would that be appropriate for?
Mocktails they're big right now. Adult alternative beverages that are non-alcoholic. So yeah, stevia can work in a variety, if not all of them. I said this in the recording of the webinars, that when stevia first came out, I hated it. It was terrible. And this gone through, the stevia of 10, 15 years ago is not the stevia of today. The improvements in technology, and especially the fermented stevia products, are absolutely amazingly good. Very much the same sweetness perception as sugar. So don't shy away from them. Absolutely go for it. I think you'll find it very, very pleasant experience in formulating today's stevia products into your mocktails.
Yeah, and I think mocktails are also growing not only because they're delicious, but obviously when somebody is going out to enjoy an alcoholic beverage in a social setting, it's not just about consuming the alcohol, please drive safely and all that, but it's a social thing. You're having drinks with people, with friends.
Correct.
And sometimes some people just feel like drinking water in that scenario is frowned upon, which, I don't believe that's true at all. That's a very responsible thing to do. But kind of taking part in the social experiment of drinking together, having a cool mocktail that looks like a traditional alcoholic beverage, while also not consuming alcohol, kind of makes that setting a little more like, oh, we're all on the same level playing field. We're all enjoying our beverage together, whether it's a traditional alcoholic beverage, which you could, again, use stevia to sweeten those as well if you're looking for a reduced calorie beverage. But also in that mocktail application, it certainly is very helpful to get a low calorie, non-alcoholic beverage and still be part of the party, if you will. So I think that's another reason
more
why
of them.
you could drink a whole lot more of them. That's true. You're basically drinking water with 0 calorie beverage. That's if you're eating your protein bar, having your protein shake, reducing your calories elsewhere, that's probably a great choice. So
very cool.
Yeah. All right, I think that's all the questions we have. Again, thanks to everybody who joined our webinar, as well as all the questions submitted for our Q&A session here. If you have any questions or need any additional help, please reach out to a Foodology by Univar Solutions person, and they will get back to you as soon as possible. We are very much looking forward to hearing from you and helping with any issues, questions, or development projects you may have.